"Take care of yourself, my little ones." 26-year-old Vadim planted a soft kiss on his wife's forehead and hugged his 2 daughters before stepping out of the house, carrying a black luggage bag. During 4 wonderful years of marriage, Vadim and Natalia had experienced numerous heartwarming memories in the house that they had bought together, and almost every memory was beautified by the presence of their little daughters. Despite the affection and joy that was added to the couple's life after having 2 kids, the family was facing financial strain for quite some time, which is why Vadim had decided to work extra for extended hours as a long-haul truck driver. That night, he was headed to another work trip to New York. As Natalia stood at the main door waving and watching her husband walk away, she could feel a part of her heart sink. Something didn't seem right, and she had a slight gut feeling about an unfortunate incident happening soon. "It's probably nothing. I usually feel this way whenever he goes cross-country for work," she told herself in her head. But this time, was it just Natalia missing her husband, or something more? The next day, Vadim talked to Natalia on the phone, and even though she was worried, he assured her that it was just a minor tooth pain. However, Natalia wasn't satisfied. She knew she probably sounded silly for worrying about something as common as a toothache, but Vadim had been away for 2 days now, and she couldn't stop thinking about the fact that her husband was in pain. It was rare for him to have health issues or aches of any sort, which made Natalia even more anxious, but she tried to calm herself down and waited for Vadim's next phone call after he had visited the dentist. In Oklahoma, upon going to a dental clinic, Vadim was told that his tooth was severely infected. Fortunately, however, it didn't have to be extracted out. Instead, the dentist gave him a full oral cleanup and prescribed him antibiotics. When Natalia got the news, she was relieved, and the couple talked about their plans for the day that Vadim would return home. Little did they know an unforeseen turn of events would cause Natalia's world to come crashing down. Maybe it was his carelessness towards taking the antibiotics on time, or the fact that the teeth cleaning hadn't worked. The toothache had now spread all around his mouth. Despite ignoring it for a few days, Vadim finally realized that the pain was there for a reason, and it was probably signaling towards an oral infection. Before he knew it, he fell ill due to a sudden onset of fever. He didn't want to worry Natalia, so he called his brother to pick him up, since he wasn't in a condition to drive all the way back home. "I can't work because I won't be able to drive. I need to see my family soon. I'll stop by the hospital on the way. Just pick me up soon," he told his brother and hung up. In that moment, Vadim realized that he himself wasn't sure if he was going to be okay. Yes, this is she speaking, as Natalia picked up the phone 4 days later. She had no idea that in a matter of a few seconds, a heart-shattering piece of news would cause the ground to slip beneath her feet. It was a call from the hospital Vadim was admitted at. His tooth infection had spread to his throat and lungs, which caused a massive fluid buildup in the lining of his lungs, and eventually, his heart stopped working. "We tried everything we could. We are extremely sorry for your loss." The doctor on the other end of the line delivered the news of Vadim's demise, and all Natalia could think was that she couldn't believe it. Apart from the trauma of her husband's death, Natalia was distressed about raising 2 daughters alone and the financial burden that came along with it. Natalia and Vadim's friends and family decided to set up a website for raising money online. Within a few hours, $53,000 were collected for Natalia and her daughters. "After losing a love of my life because of a tooth infection, I'm trying my best to raise awareness on the subject," Natalia told the local news reporters. "It's true that we take oral hygiene lightly. In the middle of our fast-paced life, we must pause and take care of our health, which is quite often neglected.